So the third item that I've got out from our collection to show you is from one of our particular named special collections, and this is the Brunner Collection, which is currently housed behind the counter in the main library. Now, the Brunner Collection is an interesting one. It's a foreign language collection. Most of the works in the collection are in French, and this was a collection that was donated to the library in the late 19th century by Mrs. Brunner, and they belonged to her son. Her son was named Adolf Brunner, and he bought a lot of his collection of books with the proceeds from the Napoleonic Award for Best Foreign Language Student, which he won 3 times while he was at school. Now, he was at school in Austria. Adolf Brunner was an Austrian. He was naturalised as an Englishman in 1876, by which time he was already 24. So he moved here with his family, his mother, his father, his brothers and sisters. And he became a master at Nottingham Boys High School. So he was the senior classics master on the staff for around 10 years before he died. So all of this happened before his very untimely death at the age of 29. So he became classics master at the Nottingham Boys High School when he was just 19. And his obituary in the Nottingham Guardian from 1882 gives his age as 29 and states that he had been on staff for 10 years. He had moved to the Isle of Wight in the last few months of his life, which is almost certainly to do in order for his health, in order to try and recuperate with the sea air of the Isle of Wight, which clearly, unfortunately, was not successful. But anyway, Brunner's mother then donated his collection of works, as I say, mostly in French, to Bromley House Library, and these are available for people to borrow, and they are behind the counter at the moment. The one that I've got out to show you today is, as you can see, it's a rather nice book, nicely bound. It's got a nice decorative spine, half bound in leather, and with this marbled paper for the covers. Also, the edges of the book are speckled with red paint. So once the book block had been created, these were then had red paint blown onto the edges to give them a decorative speckled look. So it's a nice book in a nice binding. And what it is, you will have to forgive my terrible French accent, because it's going to come up a few times in discussing this book. So this is a book in French. This is Curiosites Infernales by P.L. Jacob, bibliophile. Now, P.L. Jacob, bibliophile, was a pseudonym of Paul Lacroix. And Paul Lacroix was a French author and journalist who lived from 1806 to 1884. He was mostly known for writing, as well as being a journalist, for writing historical fiction, historical romances and so on, but he also wrote some serious historical works, and this is one of the books that he wrote. So this was published 1889 in Paris, in French, and it's Curiosites Infernales, which even someone with very poor French like me can probably translate quite well as infernal, hellish curiosities. And the titles of the chapters are also quite easy to translate. It seems that quite a lot of the French words for the various ghoulish things are quite easy to translate into English. There's an entire section, a very large section, on the existence of demons and devils and signs of possession by demons, pacts with demons, and one chapter section which is entitled Union charnelle avec le diable, so carnal unions with devils. Then there are shorter chapters about angels and the realm of the fairies and the elves, demonic possessions, and hommes changés en bêtes, so loup-garou, the werewolves. But sections about spells, spirits, wonders, and also a section on the world of the dead, which includes bits about spectres and phantoms and ghosts, vampires, revenants, and omens of birth, omens of death, omens of success and failure. So basically it's a book that gives a lot of information, seemingly about the folklore and myths around all these supernatural creatures. Now, my French isn't good enough for me to have actually read much of it, so I can't be completely certain that it's not being presented as fact, but it seems highly unlikely from looking at the career of Lacroix and the other books that he wrote, the serious historical books. I would guess that this is far more likely to be a book, as I say, about the folklore and myths surrounding these kinds of issues. But if anyone has very good French and would like to read it and let me know, I'd be very interested to know what's actually in the book.